You know that feeling when you close your laptop on a Friday? That sense of relief. Now, think about Monday morning. That whole cycle of tasks, meetings, and deadlines. It can feel less like a career path and more like you're just on a hamster wheel, right? You knock out one huge project, and what's waiting for you? A new, nearly identical one. It's a feeling so common, it's kind of the silent shared experience of the modern professional. Sound familiar? Yeah, that feeling of running as hard as you can, but basically staying in the same place. Well, in this explainer, we're going to completely reframe that feeling. We're going to see how this struggle isn't some problem you need to escape, but a condition that can actually be a source of profound, defiant joy. Okay, let's just dive right into this. To really get a grip on our situation, we need to go way back to an ancient Greek myth, the myth of Sisyphus. See, as punishment for his defiance, the gods doomed him to this eternally pointless task. He had to roll a massive boulder up a steep hill, only to watch it roll all the way back down the moment he reached the top, for eternity. Now, just look at this slide. The parallel is kind of spooky, isn't it? Our immense boulder is that overflowing inbox. The steep hill, our quarterly targets. And the eternal punishment, well, that's the daily grind. Now, most of us look at this cycle and think, wow, that's a tragedy. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if this struggle isn't something to run from, but something to actually embrace? That's the core idea we're going to unpack today, and we'll be using the incredible philosophy of Albert Camus as our guide. You know, to overcome any challenge, you first have to have the guts to name it. That feeling of unease, of searching for some deep, profound meaning in your work and just coming up empty, well, it has a name. And understanding what it is, that's the very first step toward freedom. Camus called this condition the absurd. And this is a really crucial point. The absurd isn't the idea that the world itself is meaningless. It's not a flaw in us either. Instead, it's the clash. It's the conflict that happens when our very human, very real need for purpose smacks up against what Camus called the unreasonable silence of a universe that just doesn't offer one up. And this slide just lays out that conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got us, right? We're longing for meaning, for purpose, for some kind of clarity. And on the other side, you have the world's reality. It's silence, it's indifferent, and a lot of the time it's just chaotic. The absurd is that constant, unfixable tension between the two. It's that painful gap we feel every single day sitting at our desks. So, when we're faced with this really uncomfortable feeling, what do we naturally do? We look for an escape hatch, right? We try to find some way to close that gap, to make the tension go away. But, as it turns out, our methods are often pretty flawed. Chemists had a pretty sharp name for this: philosophical suicide. Now, this is when we take a leap of faith. And it's not about what it sounds like. It's about ending one's reason. It's when we abandon our own clear-eyed view of reality just to find comfort in some external system that promises to give us all the answers and all the meaning we've been craving. And we see this all the time in the modern office, don't we? We chase that next promotion thinking that will be the thing that finally makes us feel fulfilled. Or we put blind faith in some lofty corporate mission statement, hoping it'll give our daily grind some kind of higher purpose. Or we follow productivity gurus, thinking the perfect system is going to create ultimate order out of the chaos. According to Camus, these are all just different ways of dodging the real condition we're in. So here's the crucial point. True freedom doesn't come from finding the right escape hatch. It comes from closing them all. The first and maybe the most courageous step we can take is to just stop running and to accept the absurd condition, to look it right in the eye without the false comfort of hope and without falling into despair. And this isn't an act of defeat. It's the very beginning of our liberation. Okay, so you've accepted that your work might be inherently absurd. What now? Do we just despair? Not at all. In fact, this is where it gets really exciting. Once we accept the absurd, Camus gives us this powerful three-part framework for living a vibrant, meaningful life within that very condition. And here it is: revolt, freedom, and passion. So first up is revolt. This is a constant defiance against our fate. It's basically saying, I see this reality, and I refuse to be broken by it. Second is freedom. This is the amazing liberation you feel when you stop desperately searching for some grand external purpose. And finally, passion. This is the drive to experience life to its absolute fullest. And the key here is focusing on the quantity of experience, not some vague idea of the best or highest quality life. Let's circle back to our hero, Sisyphus, and see how he just perfectly embodies this framework. I mean, he is the ultimate model. His revolt is in his persistence. By just continuing to push that rock without any hope, he basically cancels out the power of the gods. His freedom comes from being liberated from the false hope that the boulder will ever stay at the top, and this allows him to completely own his fate. And his passion? The struggle itself is his passion. His life is just filled to the brim with the sheer quantity of his effort. So this is a really fascinating philosophy, but let's get practical. How do we actually apply it? How do we take these big ideas of revolt, freedom, and passion and bring them into our 9 to 5? How do we become a happy, modern Sisyphus? Okay, this slide breaks it down beautifully. Revolt in the office isn't about yelling at your boss, no. It's about bringing your full, focused excellence to a totally mundane spreadsheet, not for a reward, but as an act of pure ownership. Freedom is detaching your self-worth from whether or not you get that promotion. It means being fully present in the work itself, not obsessing over the result. And passion? That's about finding value in the experience of the work, the learning, the problem-solving, even the frustration. It's about living the work, not just trying to endure it. Now, for Camus, the most important part of this whole myth isn't the struggle up the hill. It's the pause. It's the walk back down. This is the moment of consciousness, of clarity. In that lucid moment when he is fully aware of his hopeless situation, yet chooses to continue anyway, that's when he becomes superior to his fate. He owns it. And we have these moments too. They are our moments of dissent. Think about the quiet commute home after a long day, that 5-minute coffee break you take between tasks, that brief pause before you click join on the next big meeting. These are the moments where we can become conscious, reflect on our own boulder, and choose to pick it up again, not out of obligation, but as an act of defiant ownership. This all leads us to Camus' most famous, most breathtaking conclusion. It's a single line that just turns the entire myth completely on its head. After describing this eternal, futile, horrifying punishment, he simply says, "One must imagine Sisyphus happy." So why on earth is he happy? Well, his happiness doesn't come from some delusional hope that things are going to get better. It comes from the exact opposite. It comes from the complete, conscious, and defiant ownership of his struggle. The rock is his thing. The hill is his world. The effort is his life. The fate is his. And in that total ownership, there is a profound joy. Camus concludes that the struggle itself is enough to fill a person's heart. So the next time you're facing that overflowing inbox or that never-ending project, the question isn't, how do I escape this? The real question is, how can I own this? Because in that ownership, in that joyful struggle, we might just find the very meaning we were looking for all along. So, what struggle will you choose to own today?